Hello everybody, it's Dottie from Dottie's Gaming, and I will be teaching you guys how to play Han Solo. In this video, we're going to cover Han Solo's stats, what cards I recommend, a few ways to play him, and also some weird bugs and glitches with him. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go over his base stats. To begin, he has 650 HP. He regens his health back at 50 HP a second and can only regen a max of 200. So keep in mind that once you hit 450 health, any extra damage you take is going to be permanent damage. He has a regen delay of 5 seconds. So that means 9 seconds of total healing time is needed to get back into the fight and back to full strength. His melee damage is 65 damage. And I noticed not a lot of people melee in this game, especially if you're a gun character or a normal trooper. Start throwing more punches, guys. It will get you a lot more kills. He has a base of 2 rolls, but this can go up to 3 if you're using the Smuggler's Wit star card, which I highly recommend that you use on everything. Now onto his weapon. First of all, it is a beast. It does an insane 85 damage to the body at full damage, and even with max damage drop off, the lowest it does is 55 to the body, which is still really good. He does, however, suffer from a low overheat, which means he can only get 8 total shots before his gun overheats, but if you're using the heavily modified blaster, it can go up to 11 before his gun overheats. His gun also has a good range. It starts experiencing damage drop-off at 20 meters, and it maxes out at 50 meters. His detonate charge is very strong, and this is his left ability. It does 200 max base damage, but this can go up to 240 with the Air Burst star card, and the way that you get that 40 extra damage is just by activating his detonate charge while it's still in midair. Super easy to do. It has a decent range of 10 meters radius, but this can be increased with the Big Bang, and it can go up to 12.5. I don't recommend this card though, we'll talk about it later. And it has a long cooldown of 18 seconds. But if you're running the Smuggler's Wit, which I still highly recommend, it will bring it up to 20 seconds. His middle ability is called Sharpshooter. This ability makes him shoot much faster, but makes his gun do slightly less damage and restricts his movement. The gun goes from doing 85 normal damage, and with this activated, it does a max of 65 and a minimum of 40 per shot. But his rate of fire is doubled, which still makes this very good. Now, the ability lasts for 25 seconds, but every shot that you fire decreases the active time by 2 seconds. That means that you can get at most 11 shots, because it takes 3 seconds to fire all of those shots, and also the 11 shots take 2 seconds off, for a grand total of 25 seconds. This can be increased to a max of 15 shots, though, if you're using the Sharpshooter's Calm star card. This ability is really good in close quarters because of the range on his gun gets shrunk by quite a bit. Originally, it's 20 is when you first start getting damage drop-off, and at 50 meters, it is at its max damage drop-off. With this ability, though, it is 15 and 35, so it's been shrunk quite a bit. It has a 15-second cooldown, but if you're running Smuggler's Wit, it goes up to 17, but I'll show you guys a trick to get shorter cooldowns. Now for the most important ability of his, which is Shoulder Charge. This is his right ability. This ability is weird. It does 150 damage to heroes, but does 200 to normal troopers. It usually has no damage reduction, but with the broad shoulders, it can go up to 40%, which I recommend in some builds. Now, its base cooldown is 10 seconds, but this is when things start getting a little bit weird. With Smuggler's Wit, it increases to 12 seconds, but the star card All In doesn't work correctly, and it brings the cooldown from 10 seconds of base down to 2.5 if you get a kill with the Shoulder Charge, which we'll talk about more that you can do with this later, but that's just one little discrepancy between the star cards and the actual game. Don't forget that the Shoulder Charge can go through lightsaber blocks. It is super useful for finishing off those enemies that are at about 100 health, 150 health. Just boom, go through their blocks, and move on. Now on to star cards. This one is super easy. I recommend you only focus on upgrading and swapping out 5 different cards. For trooper game modes, the 3 that I recommend are Heavily Modified Blaster, Broad Shoulders, and All In. Heavily Modified Blaster lets you get in more shots before your gun overheats, allowing you to get more kills because the normal troopers take one shot, headshot to kill, or usually about 2 body shots. Now, for the second star card that I recommended, the Broad Shoulders, that gives you a 40% damage reduction, which is very useful for getting into and out of combat, and it can help save you from those heavies that are using their sentry, or it can help save you from the assaults using their vanguards. The last card that I recommend is All In. This is a must-have if you're going to be playing a trooper mode. It is a glitched star card, and if you're able to get a kill with the shoulder charge, then you get a permanent 50% decrease in all of your cooldowns, and this lasts as long as you're alive and as long as you don't use your shoulder charge ability again. If you use it and you don't get a kill, it goes away, but if you use your shoulder charge ability and still get a kill with it, then it stays. So it's very useful because the detonate charge usually has 200 damage, which can one-shot any trooper, and a 20-second cooldown. But using the all-in card and getting a shoulder kill, you can decrease that cooldown down to 10 seconds, and you can use his detonate charge to clear an entire point. Now for HVV, I recommend that you use Smuggler's Wit, Airburst, and All In. Smuggler's Wit increases all of your cooldowns slightly, but getting that third dodge is crucial if you're going against Saber characters. The Airburst and All In pair perfectly together, because getting a shoulder charge kill can make all of your cooldowns get reduced by half, and being able to do an extra 40 damage with your grenade, and you get it back twice as quick, is super useful. And the detonate charge at 240 damage is enough to do permanent damage to most people. And it can also knock enemies down, and the shoulder charge can also knock enemies down, and being able to get both of those back quicker is super useful. For Hero Showdown, I recommend Smuggler's Wit, Airburst, and Heavily Modified Blaster. Smuggler's Wit for the extra roll, Airburst for the increase in damage, and the Heavily Modified Blaster so you can shoot more before your gun overheats. Now, a little tip for Hero Showdown especially is your Airburst does 240 damage, so if you're able to hit somebody with it, for most enemies, they only have 200 max regen, and you're doing 240 damage, which means that you're already doing 40 permanent damage. And on top of that, the grenade will knock them down, and while they're standing back up, you can usually get a shot or two in, and that shot or two that you get in is going to be permanent damage, which makes it super useful. Alright, and now on to how I recommend you actually play Han Solo. In Hero Showdown, I recommend that you use his knockdowns, and usually get 1 to 2 hits while they're standing back up, which is all permanent damage. Then play defensively until you get those cooldowns back. Remember that during a shoulder charge, though, you can be hit with force abilities, so be very careful when you use it. And also, a little tip for all gun characters, not just Han Solo, is if you're in front of a saber, roll through them, because the auto lock on the sabers will mess up and they will completely miss you. And while they're turning around, you're usually able to get a shot into their back. For HVV, I recommend that you play him as a mid-distance support unit. I do not like seeing Han Solos in the middle of a saber fight. It is a death trap for them. What I highly recommend that you do is you stay just a little bit back. You make it so then the enemy has to focus your friendly sabers before they can focus you, and the whole time that they are dueling your teammates, you are just shooting them, throwing your grenades. You're running in there with that shoulder charge to finish them off. The grenades will help knock people down. If you have someone like an Anakin that's doing a retribution, just start shooting them. If you have someone like Luke Skywalker that's really good at knocking people down, you want to be back just a little bit, so then when they are throwing, you're still able to see them, and you can actually hit them in the air, which is super useful. Now, I do want to say this. In HVV, you never want to be in a 1v1 in general. Always make the enemy fight in a 2v1. Always team up against the enemy in HVV. That is the way that you win. It's based on the number of kills that your team is able to get. And making sure that every fight that the enemy gets into is a one-sided fight is super useful. And also, I also recommend in HVV that you don't help one teammate, rather you try to position yourself in the middle of all of your teammates. That way you can help them with all of their fights. If I see a Luke and a Vader in a Saber 1v1, if I'm not in a good position to shoot him because Vader is also facing me at the same time and blocking, I can't really do much. So being able to just turn around and help someone else on my team is super useful. Alright, and then now on to some weird bugs and glitches with him. To start, we have already talked about his all-in star card. I'll just run through that one more time. It is a glitch star card, and it makes all of your cooldowns cut in half if you're able to get a kill with his shoulder charge. The decreased cooldown buff goes away when you die, or if you use his shoulder charge without getting another kill. Now, onto his Big Bang star card. It's not as good as it seems because it increases the radius of the grenade, but not the damage, and that radius is still affected by damage drop-off. So, in the end of it, the grenade doesn't do more damage, it just has a bigger radius, and that 2.5 meters extra that it's given to the radius, it's just there for the knockback. It's not that good at actually dealing damage. I do not ever recommend that you use the Big Bang star card. It's just not that good. He also has a weird bug with his roll, where if you roll backwards, he can shoot halfway through the animation, and it looks like the shot is coming out of the ground. This can be useful if you're just rolling backwards, just spam the fire button, and the enemy in front of you will be melted. Finally, for the last one, we are going to talk about his infinite shoulder charge technique. The way that you do this is you activate your shoulder charge, and then you wait about 3 to 4 seconds and hit the melee button. Once you've hit the melee button, you immediately press the shoulder charge button again, and it'll put you back into the shoulder charge. And you can keep on doing this ever and ever until either you hit a wall, you hit a person, or you fall off a little lip or a little ledge. Now, what I will say is this combined with the broad shoulder star card is very useful because not only do you run quicker with the shoulder charge, but it's also going to be infinite so you can cover large distances, and because of the broad shoulder star card you'll be getting a 40% damage reduction. This can be really useful in game modes like Galactic Assault or Supremacy. There's also a way to do a very quick double shoulder charge where you actually do the shoulder hit animation twice in a row, but it's not that useful because the first one does damage and the second hit does no damage. It only does knockback, so you can really only use it to knock someone back a little bit further, or if there's two people in front of you and the first hit hits the first person and the second hit hits the second person, you can use it like that, but it will deal no damage on the second hit. That's all. If you want to see more guides to different characters in Battlefront 2, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want, you can also watch me play on Twitch. I'm on every night at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The name is Dottie's Gaming on there as well. I play every night with OMG at Scritch. Go check him out as well. He will be doing a Saber Technique list. Check out the links in my bio as well if you want to come and join the Dot Squad community. And thank you for watching, and good luck out there.